Hello again, it's Carol King, the founder and developer of Custom Homebuilder Solutions, also known as CHS, a powerful accounting and job costing and a few other things for Custom Homebuilder Solutions, a boutique software for you. So I've put on my hat in this picture because I'm ready to get out on the back roads and take some time off from seminars. I don't know about you, but let's see what we can go over real quickly and wrap everything up. I did want to show you a few things that I call CHS bonus features. I won't take very long on all of that. I'm going to go through this really quickly. We'll talk about CHS on mobile, a customer portal. You can have your customers go look at things about their job, communications between vendors and staff and home buyers, the plans room and what you can do with things in the plans room or in the file uploads file cabinet. Again, I'll point out CHS help, about how powerful it is with tutorials and help documents, a little bit about a thing called activities where you can do alerts about your vendors to remind yourself about something about them when you select them to pay bills, and even making a little punch list or warranty list over there using the activities. Let's get started with all of that. So what I've done first is I've opened something. When you log into CHS, you can see something that says either go to the full one or go to the mobile one. The mobile one just has a few things that are specifically designed to look better on an iPad or an iPhone or your other sort of mobile device, just for some fast information. Now, it's not like you can go do all this stuff like you do in CHS, because that really does in a way need to be desktop. Although, because this is a web-based application, you could be on your iPad and you could use your Safari and log into the full version of CHS, and it'll start adjusting itself some to the iPad. Some things may be a little off and drop below because of the space, but in general it works pretty well. I would not do a whole lot of data entry from the iPad, like a whole bunch of bills, etc., because you don't want to deal with that keyboard popping up and all these other things. It's better to use the full version of CHS on a PC or Mac or whatever it is. But this thing that's mobile is just so that if you're out there and you just have a phone and you want to see the various contacts that you have set up in CHS, and I'll just open all, and you can do things like go to a B to find our big buck that we keep talking about in our seminars, and you can see vendor bids, purchase orders, actual job costs, etc. that have been done for big buck, and see them on your phone. This used one is for people with accounting permissions to look at deposits, job revenues, and things. But anyway, you can see the various phone numbers, the work numbers, mobile numbers, and if you're on your phone and you click this icon, it will go ahead and dial that phone number. You can also see their email, and if you click that and you're on your phone and you have some email set up, it'll go to that and start an email to this particular email address. So you get the idea that you can see quite a bit of things and other contacts that are there for that particular company. So it's just a basic directory of things. This one will give you a list of waivers tracking for whoever it is that you have selected as a contact, and it'll tell you you need to select, and you can see what waivers have been returned and check mark them as returned. This is a report of your schedule for a job that you might select here. There's job cost reports. It wants you to select a job, so if you do that and you want to look up the various costs for a job real quickly, you can see just the ones for big buck if you like, or all the costs for the job there, costs for job and cost codes, etc. So there's some things you can look up, and vendors to use or used. To use is the ones you've issued POs to. Vendors to use based on POs, and get a little report on your phone. That's vendors to use. Vendors used, it's a list of various vendors that you've actually entered job costs for. So basically you get a little idea. It's for some real quick lookup is what the mobile is about. It's not for adding new bills and doing all of that kind of thing. So that's it about the mobile. Real quickly, I'd like to go over about the customer portal for your customers, where they can get online and see various things that you've given them permission to see. First of all, this is not the customer portal that we're looking at. I am inside CHS, where you can set up your customer to be online. So you give them little things like a password, etc. from the job setup window. But most importantly, what you do is give them permissions to what they can see. This happens to be a cost plus builder fee job, so this particular customer gets to see all of your actual costs, etc. based on your contract. So over here, you can see job costs posted. We have check marked actual, not marked up, so they can see the real list of actual job costs, and they can see various bills that you've uploaded. So this means you don't have to run around copying a big stack of bills for them to see, which they have a right to a lot of times. and will ask you for. So it's really great. You could just give them a list and they will be able to drill down on an uploaded copy of those bills. So we've told it that they can see both the budget and marked up amount. If it was a fixed, we would probably check marked up only. Actual budget versus actual cost is checked. They can see the whole estimated cost at completion we've looked at several times in our seminars. Their allowance agreement, their allowance cost, contract and balance, and all sorts of things, because this is cost plus. But if it's a fixed price or some other kind of customer that you have, you may not want to check a whole lot of these things. And then you can send them an invitation on a PDF that gives them their login and tells them what to log into and how to do it. So what I'd like to do is jump over and play like I'm now the buyer, and I have opened my customer portal, and I'd like you to see that there's all sorts of buttons here because they have all kinds of permissions. We'll go over those a little bit in just a second. First of all, this is not really the house. It's just some picture that I put there because I'm not a real builder. So I just have random photos that I've thrown in here. Who knows what they are. But you could have photos for them to see and drill down on and open in big form or whatever it is you like. Next, there's documents that you might have uploaded, PDFs. If they end in a PDF, they'll be in this list. We've uploaded some hard copies of change orders, etc., and a couple of other reports. And it'll show all PDFs you've uploaded for them in this section right here. By the way, if you go to change orders, you can also print those change orders. If you've done the draw requests like we went over in one of our seminars, and you do the hard copy and save the draw request, then they will be able to see their various draw requests right here. If you've uploaded things and marked them as plans and marked that the buyer can see them, they can see various plans that you've gotten for their job and go ahead and open them. If I open this one, it doesn't even pertain. It's just things that I have here to demo uploading, but you can see them being able to open those plans. Comments and messages up here are comments back and forth between your company and the customer. So you'll see here it says green from buyer, peach from user. This is the user, me. It's probably always me on here because I'm demo. Going to need additional blueprint, sending it to them. So this is just comments to and from the customer. Plus CHS might trigger some from the customer. Buyer unselected something that they had selected before, and it's saying they unselected it. I have a lot of those because I was testing. Selection by buyer. So you see me doing a lot of testing and playing like I'm the buyer. Also notice that a change order has been approved will be triggered out by CHS, and they can drill down to copies of the change order that it's about. Various communications of all kinds. You can just start a new message by adding a new comment. So I'm the buyer. If I add a new comment, I'll type in my name so we know whether it's the husband or wife or whatever it is. And then I'll select a user at the Homebuilders company and type whatever. And I can also save it and add some picture or attachment and then send it and send out an email that the staff that's using CHS can get. I'm going to delete this one just because I don't have anything to say right now, but you get an idea about how they can see all communications. They can get a report of the schedule, etc. You've seen that in our schedule thing. They can see that contract balance and where it's at right now, where the contract type and price is based on the ECC. Because they are cost plus, they can see how it's moving and changing. The builder fee and any fees on any change orders they've done. A list of monies that we have recorded that they have paid. The full job budget with buyer notes, etc. They can be reviewing that. They can see where they are at with their allowances. That's more important in a fixed contract. Allowance items over and under that we've gone over in our seminars. They can see a list of their change orders, the price with tax, the balance due, whether we received payment or not, what the balance is, and they can drill down on the change order, see all the individual lines, print out a list of change orders, etc. They can get the estimated cost at completion reports that we've seen to see where costs are, and various notes about those costs, buyer notes, not internal notes. And here's where they can see the actual job cost because they are a cost plus. And so instead of a report, it opens showing by cost code all of the bills. And if you see a paperclip here, I'm being the home buyer, remember, and I have no idea what I've uploaded here. Let me try this sanitary toilet. So they could click and open and see the bill that goes along with that line. So you, again, don't have to copy a big stack of bills. They can come over here and watch the job costs and see copies of the bills right away. So that's really handy. But they can see a budget compared to actual costs, just their basic budget and where it's going over and under without it just being the estimated cost of completion. And they can see lists of punch lists and warranty. I don't think I have any, so I'm not clicking on it, but I haven't done any really for this job because I'm not a real builder. But you get the concept, and I wanted you to know that this customer portal is here for them to see various things that you've authorized them to see. So let's move on to talking about some other communication features that CHS has for you, where you can communicate with outside vendors or entities or other contacts, etc., back and forth, and keep track of those. Or you can communicate between each other and then have those communications tagged, like by job, by the cost code that you're talking about, by all sorts of other things. And I'm just going to quickly show you, because we've opened this a few times in our various seminars. But if you'll notice right over here on the jobs dashboard for Loveman, you could click something and get comments for this job to see all comments for the job. And they will pop up, and you'll see there's 35 comments based on the job. You can see things coming from different areas of CHS, like here's where we created a purchase order and sent it, and you can drill down on a purchase order, sent it to Big Buck. A payables entry, they're billing us for more than PO. This is where they're talking staff to staff, me to the superintendent. Various things. Here's from Big Buck saying that Glenn at Big Buck signed the PO, and you can drill down on the PO right here. Various drill downs. But let me go show you something else about this also. I have opened the estimated cost at completion for Loveman, and I think this is a handy feature that if you see a little comments bubble that is darkened right here, it means that there are comments about this particular cost code roofing for this job. So if I click that, you will see that the list is filtered to Job Loveman and cost code 4030 for roofing. And you see that if it's in green, it comes from the home buyer. If it's in peach, it's a CHS user in your company. Or if it's yellow, it's from the outside contact. So first of all, we sent something to the home buyer. Jeff, have you decided on a color for your roof? Which he does answer farther up here. Here is a bid request that we sent, and if you drill down on it, you can open it and see it. So it's a bid request to Talent Roofing. Here is a proposal back from Talent Roofing. That's why it's in yellow. It's coming from them, and they said attached is our proposal. You can click on it and see it. So there's their proposal, their bid. And then here comes the home buyer in green answering my question about the roof color. So I hope you can get a concept of that. Now when we send out, say I want to send out some comment, maybe to Talent Roofing or to the home buyer here, but it's going to be tagged because of what I opened with the cost code and with the job. So if I drop here on the to contact, I can do Talent Roofing. I can ask them some question. Maybe we got a bill and it's off or whatever it is, but some question about them doing the work, who knows what it is, and then send it. And when you send it to a contact like the home buyer or another user or to this outside contact, they will get an email that gives you the verbiage that's put here in the comment and tells whoever receives it to click the communication portal button that is in the email, and it will just open. They do not have to set themselves up to be able to read that. It is all really encrypted so that only a person that gets that email can open that portal and reply, look at a PO that's been sent to them, all kinds of things. Sign the PO. If there's been a purchase order sent to them, they can sign it right there, that type of thing. But they will get an email that has a button that takes them to a communication portal that looks very similar to the one we're looking at here, except that they can only see stuff, outside entities can only see stuff that has been sent to or from them. So hopefully you get a quick idea of how handy the communications can be. I'm going to delete this because I don't have anything to say really to Talent Roofing. And we'll close that. And we'll close that. And you'll see on the home main menu, there is something here called comments, which means you can do all sorts of searching to open certain comments for a job, for the buyer, for some cost code and the job, vendor, the job and the vendor, etc. Or you can open a great big database of all the comments that have happened and then do some filtering and searching from inside that database. I won't take the time to show all of that. I think you can get the concept. And you've seen before in one of our videos that some of the latest comments for the last 60 days will show when you come into CHS, and the latest ones are on top. So you can glance at those as you log on to CHS to see if some things are coming in. If there's been things sent to you, you'll already know about it because you got an email about it, etc. when a comment was created. Hopefully that's a helpful thing to you, and let's move on to the next subject. So let's take a quick look at another bonus in CHS, and it has to do with being able to upload copies of bills, copies of bids, copies of plans, copies of this and that. And you've been seeing that throughout the various seminars where we've uploaded a copy of a bill when we're entering an accounts payable bill, or we're doing a bid request and we've uploaded a plan and we send a copy of the plan with the bid request. And then when the bid is returned to us from the outside vendor, we upload a copy of their bid. And I'd like to show you the place where all of those are stored when you do it. So if you upload a file or photo, you can go to the file cabinet to see all of them. If I don't narrow this down to a particular contact or a job, it's going to open the file cabinet of every single upload that you've done. See, we have 700 some odd, and you can do various searches right here. Won't go into all that too much, but you can do a search and then get it narrowed down. Like I said, as you come in, you could do a search for maybe big buck. We've talked about several times. We've done bills and gotten bids and given him POs, you know, that kind of thing. So this is the big file cabinet for everything that has been tagged with Big Buck. When you upload a copy of an invoice from Big Buck, CHS will do the tagging for you, but you can upload a file or photo all on your own and use the upload. Let's just do some random upload, see if I can find something really quickly, and I'll just upload something. Could be a PDF, a JPEG, this and that, but what I wanted to show you is that right after it uploads, you are given a place to tag it. I could drop down and tag it with Big Buck. I could give it a job code. I could also be very careful that I do a title, like I could say bunch of flowers or whatever it is right here, which is real important. And I could give it a doc type and set up new doc types if I want to be able to search by doc type, like maybe it's job info or a letter or list of who knows what. And you can set up ones, or it's a scope of work, or it's a W9 or things like that you could tag it with, so that you can easily search your file cabinet for various files that you've uploaded. Now the thing about uploaded files is, see how this says use small URL? When you upload them, a short URL is prepared that you could copy and paste right here and just go out to your own email, send that link to somebody, and they will be able to open the upload that you send to them. This is particularly handy when you upload plans. So that's a short URL that gets assigned as soon as you upload anything. Or you can immediately just see what was uploaded. This says Big Buck Invoice, and I can click on it to open it, and then I can see it right there. So there's a big file cabinet instead of having all your file cabinet drawers. If you look here, you see his general liability insurance, when we were talking about that in a particular seminar, has been uploaded. I'm just looking at everything that I uploaded and that got tagged with Big Buck because that's what I searched for. Now there's another thing over here which is called the plan room file cabinet, and that will ask you for a particular job, and we've kind of been working on Loveman 2, and you can open the plan room and see all kinds of plans and get the small URL, or just open it. Let's see the site plan down here. So you can see how that's really handy. Now the thing about plans, which is really handy, is I'm going to go to the jobs dashboard, and right here you'll see plan room uploads, and I could just click it and I'll get to the Loveman 2 ones again real fast from the jobs dashboard since I selected Loveman 2. You can also see all uploads for the job in the file cabinet. And so this will already get it narrowed down, but you could narrow down some more for just things for Big Buck and see the uploads there. The same file cabinet opens for all of that. Now I've opened the budget by using this link down here. I just want to go back to the roofing turnkey. And if you're wanting to print out that budget proposal and have a link to the plans, you can click here to select a plan to insert from the file cabinet for Loveman 2, and the short URL will get put in for you, so that when you print out the big budget proposal and somebody receives it as a PDF, they can click on that link. So that's really handy. Also, there's various places, like let's take a look at the POs that have already been issued, and let's just drill down on this PO. And you can see right here where there's notes to print on the PO, you can select a plan, and I already did that, and what happened is this got put in right here. So this will print and be in the notes for the PO so that whoever's receiving the purchase order or work order can have a quick link on the PDF they receive. Also, they have uploaded an attachment, and if you open it, it's the roofing bid that we received, because in our notes on the PO we're saying, as per your attached bid. When you upload right here, that will go into your file cabinet and can be found from all over the place. You print that PO, say you want to include that bid attachment, open it, get it onto your own computer so it gets real active. So anybody opening this in their own PDF reader is going to see roof framing plan, see how it hovers over and gives a link, and also the roofing bid. So if they click on those, they will be opening those various uploads that you included on the PO, which can be super handy for that vendor that you're sending a purchase order to. So the plans are stored out there with a short URL. And like I said, you can upload anything you want from the home by going to the file cabinet or just click the upload file or photo. And it will open that same window to do the upload, and then it'll be in your file cabinet. So that's all I wanted to say about that. You've seen it several times in different lessons here, and I just wanted to show you where it's all getting stored and how you can find the short URL if you need to get it yourself to just send to somebody else. I want to take just a quick minute to talk about the fantastic help in CHS that is comprised of many tutorials and printed help documents that you can use. First of all, when you open CHS and you land on the launch page, just as an example, you're going to see help all over the place based on what the context is. So when I clicked help, it opened a couple of video links for you for comments, because this was about comments. Over here, if you do general use help, it's going to open some things, some basics, and that's why that's on the launch page of things that you might want to know about, like the plan room and uploads that we just talked about, active jobs dashboard, company master, user permissions, etc. Those are the basics that don't have all that much to do with data entry. They're just basic things that you should know about. So that's called general use tips to get started with. So if we continue to the main menu, you will also see setup and help right here, and you will see a link for all these seminar videos that this is about the last one of, and it'll open and it'll show you, and you can start seeing the seminar numbers, titles for them, and links to the video. And once in a while we might have a little help document thrown in because of something we talked about in the seminar. So that's pretty handy, but you can also open all help tutorials so that this is opening to let you look for anything you want. Maybe you want to figure out how to do waivers of lien, so you type in waiver and click enter. Then you'll see some things open up. You'll see that it gets narrowed down to things that have the word waiver in it. And you can see that there was a seminar that included something about waivers, etc. So it's showing up here because it's found in the description. Another seminar talking about waivers, vendors, and trades. And then there's a section that showed up for waivers of lien that has all the help documents for waivers of lien and how to do them. Detailed tutorials, more so than the seminar videos. And if you close that, you could look for all kinds of things there just the way you want to. But let's just say you go to the waivers of lien and you'll see a help button. And you'll see this all over the place. But then it's just taking you to that waivers of lien section and all the videos about it. So that's basically how it works. And there is all kinds of help everywhere for you. I'd like to go over one more special bonus that CHS has for being able to communicate to other staff members or to yourself for reminders about certain things. So I'm going over here to Contacts, Comments, Tasks, and I'm going to click on something called Activities and Tasks. And this is just where you can set up simple tasks, or I call it activity because it's like a reminder or a to-do or something that will happen. So what you'll see is a menu where you can select various different things. I only want to see ones not marked as done. You also notice that you can select for it to be miscellaneous, punch, or warranty, or from miscellaneous through warranty. I'll talk about punch and warranty again here in a minute. Let's open the activities list. This is for all that are not marked as done. If I click on one of these, you'll see that it's not marked as done right here. I could check mark it and it'll put a done date. I'm leaving this one open because I created it just to be an alert for me when I'm entering a loan payment for South Star Bank, and I'll show you that in a minute. Notice how it says punch list things are orange, warranty things are green, and so if you start scrolling, you might see some things that are warranty or punch list items. Let's jump to South Star Bank just for a minute over when you post a new payables bill. So if I put in South Star Bank, I want you to notice that any activities that are not done show up over here on the right, and I used this as a reminder that I'm going to be posting principal to 2510 GL and interest to 8241. When I go on to pay the loan payment, I'm telling myself I'm going to want 2 lines and what the GL numbers ought to be for those. These alerts are also available when you open to post a bill. Right up here, you can see the activities notes again. Just open all for the vendor if I want to. It's probably only got one because I think I've only done one, but you can see them again right here. If you can't remember what GL it told you, then you could look at the alerts. So that's one way to use it as a reminder. Back on the activities, you could also say punch and just look for punch list ones that are not done. Open the activities list. Notice they're now all orange, and let's just click on ABC. It says leak, and there's some notes, and I was testing actually the activity notes there, and that they uploaded actually 3 different photos, which won't make any sense because I don't have photos of the leaks. I was just uploading pictures, but you could be taking pictures and uploading them if you like right here to show a picture of the leak and where it's at, that kind of thing. And if you do a report of just this activity, you will see what I was talking about just a minute ago, short URL links to those photos. So if you send it to PDF, those become active, and you could send this out to ABC Foundation. Let's go see for a minute what happens when I'm creating a bill and I ask for ABC Foundation. Notice now 2 things showed up. One is that at some point in time I decided to make a reminder to myself that we need their IRS W-9 form. And here's the punch list. It says punch list or warranty. And I can see that it's showing up here and not done, even though I'm in August of 2021 now, and it was set for 3/21, so there may be something I want to do about that. If I drill down on that one from here, it's the same activities list, but I can actually click this to do a comment and send it out to ABC to say, have you done it yet? Or what? You know, that type of thing. So you can see how it's all relating. And it's different. Activities tasks are a little different than doing comments. It's sort of like some things that might show up maybe when you select a payer or you select vendors to remind you something about that particular contact. By the way, there's a quick warranty request form that you could get open as a PDF. Design it a little bit more for yourself and do form for a job. It's going to ask what job. What if we have our Loveman 2? Prepare a PDF. Now I have a PDF and it's referring to the job, and it's a blank form for somebody to fill out and fill in a warranty repair request. So you could just send this PDF off to the homeowner that's asking for the warranty repair. So I just wanted to point out that this is going on. I'm not going to get into any more greater detail. The warranty stuff works basically like the punch stuff that I was just showing you. So I hope that helps. Let's continue. So just a couple more bonuses that I'd like to quickly talk about, and one is that CHS is known as what is called Software as a Service, or an SaaS company. That means that we offer it via the web, meaning that you only have to have your browser to use it, nothing has to be installed, and that we provide a service that you pay for on a monthly subscription basis. It means that people can work in the field, at their office, at home, etc., all in the same program using your back-end database. It also means we are doing nightly maintenance on all of your database that you would probably never think about doing if it was installed locally. Also, that your data is being backed up in various multiple ways, probably more ways than you can do, and that you don't have any installation headaches for the software. And any upgrades are automatically done by us, etc. You don't have to deal with any of that stuff. And that you don't have to pay a technician to constantly tend to some server you may have set up to network your users. And various other bonuses by being on the web. It's much easier to offer you the ability to do the uploads and store them for you, give you access through small URLs like we've been looking at, to do communications, for people to make comments back and forth because they're in the field, for the field to approve those bills, and so much more. If you've stayed with me through all of these seminar lessons, I hope by now that some of the things I'm about to say will have dawned on you, and what a good return value you would get on your investment in CHS. For one thing, I hope it's dawned on you that it will reduce conversations with trades regarding bills and payments, etc., massively, that it will reduce conversations with buyers about costs, that you can let your project managers do their jobs without so many interruptions about job costs, and the online communication about costs between the big boss project managers and the accounting team can save so much time and misunderstanding. And that you are not having your staff spend so many hours on possibly inaccurate spreadsheets that get outdated before they can even get them done. That you're not making overpayments to suppliers and trades so much anymore, maybe. That you make sure change orders are paid for, and most importantly, that you know where you stand every hour of the day and every day. If you think about that estimated cost of completion worksheet, you'll know what I mean. And how much really is your hour worth, and how much do you pay your team per hour? I can confidently say to you that you are spending more on time and labor than you will spend with CHS that will save you so much time and labor. So wouldn't you agree that these savings will return value to you? Thank you so much for going through the seminar lessons, and I hope it gave you a really good feeling about what CHS can do for you. And please do not hesitate to call us with any questions that you may have.